Hello, everyone. We're about to go back into the past, February 16, 2023. This is for a parole revocation hearing for Todd Williams. The reason we're going back in the past is because Todd reappeared today on April 27th. So, what we're going to do is we're going to watch his parole revocation hearing and then we'll skip forward to his return. I'm going to start the hearing about 4 minutes in because the first 4 minutes they had a sound problem and it just wasn't really that watchable. So I'll save you that headache. And please do like and subscribe. Help me get to 20,000 subs.
Okay. So number 10, you are in arrears $126 as of for the supervision fees of 3/18/2022. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. All right, tell me what happened. What's going what's the deal with the domestic battery?
I come home and stuff, and me and my wife, we had an argument about me buying her some weed, and I told her I wasn't doing it. I just come home, I'm not even about to do all that. And she get mad and she like, well, you on parole, I know what I can do. I'm gonna just call the police. And I'm like, what you gonna do that for? She gonna just do it. She called and they came, they arrested both of us. And I was on parole. That's the reason why I couldn't buy out. I was on parole. They arrested both of us on a charge.
So what happened? No physical abuse, no fighting, pushing, nothing.
No, sir. That's why they threw everything out. That's why they threw everything out. It was just a verbal. We just was fussing. It was supposed to be disturbing the peace. But I copped out because I thought I was gonna be able to make it home for in October. Nobody got touched.
How long you been down on that?
I've been down 11 months right now. I've been finished with the time on the charge and everything.
Well, tell me, what's your relationship with your wife now? I mean, you still your wife and what's gonna happen when you get back out?
Yes, sir. I just talked to her for Valentine's Day. We talked it over and everything. She said that I could come back over there, but I'm not even going back over there. I'm gonna go to Opelousas to my house and just be by myself.
Well, I mean, she's still your wife? You got kids together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I need to focus on myself when I go out there so I can go work and get myself together, and then we can get back together. That's how I turn out.
So were you using drugs when you got back out there?
No, sir. All my drug screens was clear. Everything was good. I reported. I ain't have no problems, but just that charge right there. Whenever the parole officer seen me, she said I was the first person. I was home like only for like a month, and I had got a job and everything. You know, I was doing good for myself.
You still have a job out there?
Yes, sir.
If you go to Opelousas, you gonna be able to get to that job?
Yes, sir. I have a 2016 Sierra truck.
How far is that job?
Huh, sir?
How far is that job?
It's only like 25 minutes.
Yeah, Opelousas.
Yeah, it's court ordered, everybody.
So you say you have some children with her?
Yes, sir.
How many?
One.
You support that child?
Yes, sir.
So what's going on? I mean, my concern is you get back out, you get back in that relationship. Sound like y'all having some issues. Have y'all had fights before this?
No, sir. That was our first time ever having a fight. It wasn't even a fight. We just was arguing about doing that, and I told her I wasn't doing that. I'm not. They doing all kind of stuff with them drugs. I'm not about to buy nobody no drugs because I ain't even using. That's all it was. We just fussed it. It wasn't even her called the police. It was the neighbors called and say that we was arguing. That's why I say I don't know why they charged me with all those other child endangerment. Nobody was even there. It was just us two in the house. That's why they dismissed everything.
Where you work at? What's the name of the job?
John Peck.
What?
John LePeck.
Yeah. What do you do there?
I do the sewing the bags, and then when I leave from there, I go work with my uncle and sandblast, and I paint at his shop. I'm a certified painter and a sandblaster.
You got your own house. Gonna stay at your own house.
Yes, sir, in Opelousas, Louisiana, 1023 West South Street.
Not, I have no further questions. You have a question?
Does anybody else live at that house on West South Street?
Yes, ma'am. I can't hear.
Who lives there?
My mother, she lived over there, but my dad just died and he left me the house, but since I've been in jail, I've been letting her live over there, but I got my own room and stuff.
Where does the wife live?
She lived in Crowley.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What's the address at Opelousas?
1023 West South Street.
You'd like to make a statement on your behalf?
Sir?
You'd like to make a statement on your behalf?
No, sir.
And I'll vote first. I'm gonna vote to do not revoke you. I think you spent appropriate time in jail already on this charge. I am concerned about your relationship with your wife. You need to figure that out. And drugs is not gonna never be a part, or it's not gonna be helpful to you. I want you to go back to your Opelousas residence, continue to work. And I want you to attend the domestic violence prevention class. It's a 26-week class. You got to go on outside and attend it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
They'll set up a 26-week DBOP class. So I'm going to vote do not revoke, continue supervision, 26-week DBOP, and you go live in Opelousas. Ms. Renata,
My vote is the same. Do not revoke for the same reason.
this
I'm going to take a chance on you, do not revoke, complete the domestic violence program. And I would add a condition that you have no contact with your wife until you have completed all 26 weeks of the DBOC program.
you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all very much.
And we also have Miss Rebecca Jackson, just for the record. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She's for the next one. Apologize. Oh, never mind. All right, thank you. 3 votes do not revoke you. Probably, good luck to you.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
Well, there it is. They gave him, they did not revoke him. They said on condition that you don't get in contact with your wife until you've completed that course. And let's fast forward really just a couple of months. And what do you think he was revoked for? Let's find out.
Morning. Committee on Parole, we are reconvening at West Baton Rouge Parish.
So you made it home safely in a car.
Yes, ma'am.
After that,
Sometimes you get bugs, right? You put in all this work and then YouTube spazzes on you. While we get this up, what do you think he did? Here we go.
Thursday, April 27th, 2023. It's 9:51 a.m. Is there any staff in the room there with you, sir? Y'all are on mute. He can't hear us. Y'all are on mute. Thank you. There you go. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can't hear me?
Okay.
Yes. Good morning. Okay.
I just want to point out, what are the odds it happens twice in a row? I mean, we've seen hundreds of hearings, and it doesn't happen that often. But for him, it happened in his last hearing and in this one. That's interesting. Anyways.
Good morning.
Would the staff at West Baton Rouge introduce yourself, please, for the record?
Good morning, Board. Warden Juge at West Baton Rouge Detention Center.
Good morning, Warden Juice. Thanks for accommodating us this morning.
Yes,
And we
ma'am.
have, for us, we have Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Todd Williams, 586321.
Right? We are here for a revocation decision this morning. I'm a little disappointed.
Ma'am?
I'm a little disappointed that I am seeing you again.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw you in February.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, you know the drill. We're going to read the violations against you, and you're going to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll make a revocation decision. So, Mr. Williams, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4. You failed to refrain from criminal conduct on or about February 27, 2023 by the commission of violation of a protective order. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Guilty. With a statement.
Okay. And then condition number 13, which was a special condition, on February 16, 2023, the parole board ordered no contact with the victim of your previous domestic abuse conviction. You failed to refrain from having contact with your wife as ordered by the parole board on February 16, 2023, when on or about February 27, 2023, you were found to be in contact with her. How do you plead to violating the special condition number 13?
Guilty with a statement.
Right? Your statement, let's hear your statement about condition number, well, all of it, that's all related. Tell us.
You see, whenever they let me out from Riverbend Detention Center, they let me out. And I told the warden when I was in the front, I'm like, excuse me, this is the victim that they releasing me to, that's in the parking lot right now, that I caught the domestic on. And he like, well, that's the person that they contact to release you to. And I told him, I'm like, this is the victim that I'm supposed to be around. Or you like, you're a free man, you gotta go. You gotta get off my compound.
All right, what date were you released?
February the 22nd, 2023.
All right,
Well, thank
so
you.
that was that day, and then it says on February 27th, you were found to be in contact with her 5 days later.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Because she come to bring me my clothes. When she come to bring me my clothes, her tie had went on a flat, and I was changing her tie. Then the state trooper came and he asked her everything was all right. She like, yeah. He like, can I run your name through? He ran her name through for her ID and her registration and everything. And then he ran mine through, and he like, ain't you just got out of prison? I'm like, yes, sir. I got my paperwork. I got my paperwork right here. She came to bring me my clothes and stuff. And that's what had happened. And he locked me up, and he said it wasn't no big thing. And I told him that I had like 4 days left on a protective order, or like a week left on a protective order. But
No, it's not so, because we ordered that you were to have no contact with your wife until you completed the domestic violence program.
no,
So,
I was
much longer than that.
I was talking about the paper that they had given me when I had released. They had given me a paper that said
All
that
right. All right. How long you been in jail?
I've been in jail 2 months right now.
So when were you, this is since February?
Yes, ma'am.
In February?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't know, it's 7.
No, January, February, March, not February. It was I got out, and when I went to see my parole officer, it was January, February, March. It was March. It should be the beginning of March whenever you my first week of going to see the parole officer.
Why didn't you sign up for the domestic abuse program?
That was the week that I supposed to go. I went to see my parole officer. I went to see the people in Villeplat for the parole, and they sent me to see my parole officer, and I was going to sign up for that, but I got locked up. That was all that same week. I had did everything, but I ain't never get to go to the class yet. I did everything that y'all had wanted me to do except go to the class because the parole officer had locked me up. And I was locked up from February the February the 20, whenever with the February the 27th and the 28th, and then whenever I got out, the parole officer backdoor locked me right back up for violating the thing, but I was doing everything right with that there.
I don't know about all that. Let me just read the notes real quick. You had new charges?
No, just the violating the protective order.
It's new charges.
That's a new charge.
All right, anything else you want to say to us?
No, I was, you know, I was working and doing everything right, except, but whenever I caught, she come to pick me up, and you know, that's the only thing that really messed everything up for me. Everything that y'all told me to do, I was doing it. I went and got my little job. I started working with my uncle at the paint and body shop. You know, I was getting everything right at my mama house and the rent houses that I had. And I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but she come bring me them clothes, and I got in trouble for her bringing me my clothes. Because we was calling it a quit, because I told her I ain't want nothing to do with her.
Ms. Wise has a question.
Sir, as you sit in jail now with all this happened, have you thought about what could you have done differently?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell us what you would do differently.
What I said, like, whenever I got released from River Bend, when the warden told me, like, when I told him about the situation with the
Right.
releasing me to
Now,
the victim.
what did you should have done? I don't want to hear what you could have done differently.
No, that's what I'm getting to. Whenever he told me about that, I should have just told him I need to call another ride so I can go ahead, and because this wasn't gonna work. And also what you should have done is left the facility, even if that meant walking on the highway. no, damn,
Listen to me. If the warden said you gotta leave here, you would have said, okay, may I please make one more phone call and just went on and started walking home.
yes,
Then your
ma'am.
wife got the message that I'm gonna obey the parole board. They told me to have no contact with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And what else you could have done differently?
No, not be around him. Not be around him. But that's what I was doing when I asked the warden to call. He like, well, I got her. I asked him if I could have took off walking. He like, no, you can't leave from the facility walking. I say, well, I'm a free man. He said, you can't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what I asked him. I'm like, man, I promise you, I got the paperwork right here. I said, I can't leave with her. That's the victim that just told me. Say, well, you got to get off the compound with her because she signed the paperwork. And I told her when I got in the car, I said, you know, I'm supposed to be around you. She like, I'm just dropping you home and that's it. I said, I don't even know how you even know I made parole.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the jail contacted her and told her that I had made.
So you made it home safely in a car.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, no contact. No contact means no contact.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just wondered, that's the only questions I had, because I just wondered about your thinking, sir, about how you control the situation, what
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can. That's all I had, Chair.
All right. The report does say that you were rearrested prior to being referred to counseling for the domestic abuse, that your officer was trying to work with you to get you in there.
Yes,
But all this happened and you couldn't complete.
yes, ma'am. I promise you, if I get a second chance, I'll go to class, because there's no problem with me going to class, because when I was in prison, I took classes like that and I always graduate them. Man, I just did 10 years. I'm trying my best to do right out there, but I caught that charge, that violated.
The charge was you were on the way home.
Yes, ma'am. I was on my way, ma'am.
She had the flat tire when you was out.
Yes, ma'am. And I was, yeah, we was on the way to Opelousas, and I was changing a tire.
That was 5 days later.
Huh?
That was 5 days later.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that when she brought you the clothes?
Yes, ma'am.
She had a flat.
Yes, ma'am.
You were at your house? Where were you?
No, I was in Opelousas, and she come pick me up, and I was getting my clothes from Crowley, Louisiana. That's like down the street.
That's different. That's different. You said she was bringing you your clothes, but she came to pick you up, probably because you asked her to go get your clothes from Crowley. So you're not being totally honest with me.
No, on the paperwork, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. On the paperwork, whenever she dropped me at Opelousas, when I got out, I was in Opelousas for them couple days. And then she come to Opelousas they got a paper that that my parole officer, I think he sent y'all saying that she said that she come to pick me up to bring me my clothes, and then she was dropping me home. And that's what I had.
She got in the car with her. That's
Yes,
all I
ma'am.
can say. You should not have gotten in the car with her. So
Yeah.
that, now what that tells me is you're not really, you say you are, but you're not taking seriously what we had to say. I don't have any other questions. Is there anything else you'd like to say to us before we vote?
I want to say I apologize, and I promise if y'all give me another chance, I'm telling y'all I'm gonna do right. And it's no reason for me to go back around there because I don't got no clothes or nothing at our house no more. Everything is at my house in Opelousas.
Yeah, well, there was no reason for you to go back around her in the first place, since
Yes,
you're panel prepared to vote?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
All right, Mr. Williams, I believe you were really trying, but I believe you could have made better decisions. My vote today is to revoke your parole because I find that you violated conditions of your parole. Mr. Rocher.
Mr. Williams, I'm going to revoke your supervision because I find you guilty of violating conditions number 4, number 13 of your supervision contract.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, my vote is the same for the same reasons. You really got to take control of what you can control. Control the controllables, and you didn't do that. Best wishes to you, sir.
All right, sir. Today your parole's been revoked. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Okay.
Thanks for accommodating us this morning.
Ma'am, thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Well, there you have it. And frankly, you can't feel bad. I don't know how much time now he has to serve more, but how can you feel bad when someone, first of all, I don't believe him either. I don't believe any of the story. How is it that you're getting out of prison or jail, because it was another revocation, and the woman who you beat up, which is why you were in jail to begin with, picks you up? And you're telling the board right now that you didn't know she was going to pick you up. You don't even know how she found out about your release. Mr. O'Shea was looking at him like, oh, you gotta believe. You think we can believe that story? But who else was going to pick you up if it wasn't her? Dude, you're not making sense. It's the most bogus story. And he's thumbing his nose at the board. He's thumbing his nose at everything. They released you on revocation. We just saw it. And they said, on condition that you don't see her until you complete the program. And you have the, what do you want to call it? You want to take the risk that she actually shows up to jail to pick you up? Whoa. Because I don't know. You can call me a lot of things. I'm not going to be this naive to believe that he didn't have someone have her pick him up. That's just, sorry, sir, but. And then he gets away with it. And then he gets caught just 5 days later because of that tire pops. He's changing the tire. He's in the car with her. And somehow cops show up, which I don't know how that happened. But he's on the side of the road changing a tire. And somehow a cop shows up and IDs him. I mean, how does that work? I wonder how that happened. But man, that's bad luck. I gotta tell you. That is some bad luck. And man, that must have been so frustrating. But he was out just 5 days before getting rearrested. And remember, he was locked up for domestic, for DV against that woman. And all he had to do, well, against his wife, right? Was it his wife? It had to have been, right? Because all he had to do was complete, I know I can't even remember, but all he had to do was complete the class before seeing her, right? It must have been his wife. And now he did try to complete it, but he was, I mean, is it that he has no one else in his life? He has no way of getting a ride. He has nowhere to live. He has no, or is it that he just doesn't care? Either way, you only have to wait how long? For me, this just gives me a lot of insight into it's there are some things that you just can't really solve. Programs obviously aren't going to solve anything. And I don't, I think it's eventually someone just needs to get tired of getting locked up. Someone needs to outgrow it. Someone needs to just get tired. It blows my mind, though. It's hard to understand. But with that, I'll let you go.